Okay, so tonight I'm going to be talking about just a focus on teachers, just from the conversations I've had with my own cooperating teacher. Um, we talked about a lot of things. We've talked a lot about classroom management, because that's something that I've been just extremely worried about. Her basically her guiding principle in classroom management is that all of her students are unique and valuable individuals, and they should all treat each other as such. It says that gets her by pretty well, and I think it generally has. I haven't always seen her students live up to that standard, but I think that's something that her and all of the teachers that work with her on her team definitely try to enforce in students and try to avoid those issues. She's mainly talked about how that's something you just kind of have to develop with time. She talks about how the younger teachers have more struggles with that, both because the kids see they're young and think they can get away with stuff, and also because they just haven't yet developed those skills. It's interesting that she just is more effective with classroom management when she doesn't say anything. It's kind of that look of death that is really effective, and that's something that I can hope I can master at some point, because that just seems to work really well for her. And she's also talked about how at times if a student is just having issues, sometimes you just have to go ahead and not delay, just go ahead, take them out of the classroom for a moment, just figure out what's going on, so that way you can just start to move on. Other things we've talked about, it's just some of the general stresses of being a teacher. She talked about how grading is one of the things she likes least, and I've just talked with her and seen so many of the little administrative things that you have to deal with, and it seems like, talking to her, it's that dealing with the kids is kind of the fun part, and dealing with the content is the fun part, but it's kind of all the other little things, like getting such and such note home to them, grading, turning in attendance, having to have your tests at the right time, all those little things that are really some of the more stressful parts of being a teacher. Also, so many little things about, like, just how much your feet hurt after a week of being on them all day, and how hard it is to get your voice used to speaking every single day like that. Just a lot of small things. Something I've also noticed a lot this past week is just kind of the life outside of school for a teacher, and how you have to balance that with life in school. In particular, this week, both of my cooperating teachers, Stars, has been sick, and it's been interesting to see her having to try to balance out taking care of them, having to leave during her planning period to go take after them, to leaving class for a few minutes to try to call the doctor. One day she actually had to leave early. I had to finish things up, keeping an eye on the students, waiting for the buses to get there, because she had to take her daughter to the hospital. So it's interesting that that's just a whole other layer of having to deal with family and other things. You kind of have to negotiate within also your very serious responsibilities as a teacher. We've talked a little bit about lesson planning. She's a very organized person, but also she just has a very systematic way that she goes about with her teaching. She has her note pages that the kids always do, and then she throws in some more extra things to go around that. And she just has a very systematic way in which she plans and teaches, which seems to really make it easy for her. Makes it easy for a sub to come in, or even someone else if she has to leave for a bit, like me or the para helpers, to just come in and get right in there, just the way she plans our lesson. So that's been really interesting, that I've really found interesting about her teaching methods. We've talked a little bit about standards, their constraints. Not a whole lot, just a little bit about how they can definitely be restraining to you at times. Just my overall impressions for her is that, for her it's just all about the students. She's actually taught just about every subject at the school except for science, but through all that, the common denominator has always been her students, and the care that she has for them, and the care that in turn they have for her. And it seems like that's just her driving force, and that's just basically what we're doing is really all about students. So, well, have a good day, night, whatever.